What's up, guys? How's it going? I am back with some more Spoopy month. Today we will be playing with Arms Wide Open, the memoirs of Tobias Pose. Press enter to begin. Do I WASD? I WASD. Okay. None of these lights are... Oh, they're coming on as I go. Gotcha. Oh, what the... What are you?
Welcome to With Arms Wide Open, the memoirs of Tobias Pose. This exhibit will take you on a journey through key moments of his life. My name is Pascal. I will be your guide and narrator throughout this life-changing experience.
Great.
I hope you have a hanky ready. You're going to need it.
Oh, good.
Onwards. Today I dreamt that I was flying, high above a sea of crimson. I watched as the tide ebbed and flowed, in sync with the beat of my heart. Above me, a dark sky loomed, heavy with the sickening scent of sorrow. Lightning cracked the sky and rain lashed against my skin. Suddenly I was falling, failing. As my face broke the surface of the water, I awoke, or did I? Yesterday's beer sitting atop my copy of Tolstoy's War and Peace called to me. Another day older, another day closer to death. I swallowed a handful of painkillers and reached for my jacket, grabbed a half-eaten croissant from the fridge and drizzled it with Marmite before heading towards the grimy stairwell. Just a normal day in the life of Tobias Pose. I hated my job. Kids screaming, cars honking. The polar opposite of what one wants after another night of drinking alone, ad infinitum. I might as well just be a button on a set of traffic lights, I thought to myself bitterly as an irritatingly happy child crossed the road without so much as a thank you. How did I end up here? I was wasting my life. Since birth, I'd dreamed of being an actor, my name plastered on billboards across the globe. Instead I was here, no more than a shepherd of children.
You're creepy, you know that?
Everything changed the moment we locked eyes through the dense fog of the jazz club. On the small stage, a saxophonist wailed a soulful G-flat. B sharp. Back to G. Maybe the music was getting to me, but I felt like I could see into her soul, the color of her memories, the taste of her hopes and dreams. I went over. Looks like you could do with another drink, I said as I poured her near full glass into a plant pot. She smiled at me wryly. Looks like it. 2 cranberry and cokes, please, I said with an assertive snap of the fingers. And whatever this beautiful woman is having.
Oh, it's the Titanic.
Those early days were a heady haze. I'd never felt such unadulterated joy. We did everything and yet nothing at the same time. Time stood still yet flew, our relationship a paradox. We were Jack and Rose, aboard a sinking ship in the ocean of love. Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that the heart does go on. Never had something so aptly encapsulated the storm of emotion raging in my soul.
There's not like veering paths, right? Okay.
One night we lay side by side on a hill at the city outskirts, basking in the exquisite glow of the stars. You know, a wise man once said that every star in the sky represents a life that has ever lived, or ever will. That's a nice thought. Was that Plato? She asked playfully. No, better. It was me, I said with a laugh, lunging at her. We rolled down the hill. We came to a stop, the damp grass of the graveyard tickling the back of my right knee. She looked down at me, a smile forming, moonlight flooding her eyes. She'd never looked so beautiful. Let's have a baby.
So the platforms are spinning, by the way. I'm just spinning around them and doing weird things to keep myself entertained. Oh wow, does he have on
They
a
say
top
that
hat?
one's wedding day should be the happiest day of their life. Maybe it would have been if I wasn't so worried about Tara giving birth halfway down the aisle. Evening came and we were left alone in the apartment, a relief, truth be told, after a day of repetitious niceties from forgotten relatives.
Forgot that he was there.
You know what I really want, she said, fixing me with a serious expression. McDonald's. We grabbed our jackets and wellies, threw them on top of our wedding attire and headed out into the blizzard. We got some peculiar looks, but we didn't care. That was just what the baby ordered, she sighed contentedly after polishing off her chicken legend. We sat in silence, enjoying our newfound weddedness. After slurping at the remains of her banana milkshake for what seemed like an eternity, she looked me in the eye. Tobias. I think I have a name for our son. What's that? Donald. There's not enough room for it here. It's too long. Tara was becoming frustrated. We'd been trying to build the cot all damn night. I couldn't say what I was really thinking, so instead took a deep breath and calmly said, why don't you go and lie down, do a crossword. This is a manly job for a manly man. Then who's going to do it, she quipped. A sick burn, indeed. 2 hours and 18 minutes later, my work was complete. You can open your eyes now. Valor. She looked at my handiwork with a despairing smile. Tobias, it's lovely but it's back to front.
So he did it backwards. This story's gonna end real sad, isn't it? That's why you said I was gonna need a hanky, huh? You're real creepy. Everything else, like, this is beautiful. The way this is set up is gorgeous. The way the rooms are set up is gorgeous. You're creepy. Go away. Ah. Okay, moving on.
burst forth into this world, I was immediately struck by his resemblance to myself, same eyes, hair and general demeanor. As I held him in my hand,
there's
I
the baby.
felt a sense of pride rush through me like electricity. He was perfection incarnate, and I would do anything to protect him until the day I, or he, died. Sure. Don't cry, my child. You are here now. Tara gave a weak, sweaty smile. Two hearts had become three, a couple of family, but as one we remained.
You're really annoying now.
Raising a child can be tough. Sometimes,
Is that you with a
when
skateboard?
things became too much, I would go out for some air.
With a skateboard.
Literally. While other fathers might have drowned their sorrows at the pub, I had put the devil's drink behind me. No, instead I had found a different way to unwind.
Skateboard.
Skateboarding.
Alright.
Whenever I felt stressed, I'd hop on my board and cruise down the road, feel the wind in my beard, and everything, albeit briefly, would be alright with the world. Years flew by. Before we knew it, Donald was about to start school. "What do you want to be when you grow up, son?" I asked him. "I want to be just like you, Daddy," he replied. "Gee son, that's great. But what about a job? It's never too soon to start planning." "I wanna be a..." He looked to the sky. A distant airplane caught his eye. "A pilot. My son, a pilot." I liked the thought of that. Part of me began to think that maybe I should have been one. I hadn't really seen much of the world, after all. I stood up. "Well, what are you waiting for? Let's fly," and with that we took off, running through the tall grass with arms wide open. The cool breeze rushed against my face. In that moment, I was a plane, flying, fast, free, fabulous.
This is gonna get sad now, isn't it?
Donald was a natural actor. Sure, his role, Scarecrow, was a minor one, but he made it his own. I looked on proudly, a face in the darkened crowd. That boy's going to go far, I thought to myself. Pilot, actor, drug dealer, I didn't care, I would support him, whatever choices he made in life. "That's my son," I whispered to the elderly gentleman wearing a poncho next to me. "He's the most remarkable scarecrow I ever did see, you mark my words. His ability to stand still is uncanny," he gushed in a thick Cornish accent. Tara and I smiled a satisfied smile at one another. For all the difficult times parenthood brought, it was worth it for moments like these. That night, I had a dream, a nightmare. I was walking along a tightrope high in the sky, equidistant between two buildings. In one hand, I held a sleeping baby,
Wow.
in the other, a lollipop sign.
You're missing some very
The
important
moon
things in that
crumbled
shadow.
and within it a skull emerged. I wondered what it could mean.
You're so creepy. You're always right there. Stop it.
When Donald was 10, we went on holiday to the Cotswolds. We hadn't been anywhere for a while, since he'd been born as a matter of fact. As we walked along the harbour wall, an old man spied us and handed us a leaflet for boat hiring on the old lake. "Can we go, Dad? Can we? Gee son, I don't know," I replied, concerned about the safety of hiring a boat from a strange old man. "Well, I think it's an excellent idea," chimed in Tara. "You two men can catch us some fish and I can get some peace and quiet to do some crosswords." The next thing I knew, Donald and I were drifting out onto the lake, the waving silhouette of Tara growing ever smaller on shoreline.
What happened to the cool lights for the pond?
It all happened so fast.
Oh no.
Donald got his line stuck on a plastic bag. The next thing I knew he was in the water. I spun around wildly, unable to spy him in the murky water. "Donald! Donald!" I yelled, desperation in my voice. His head reared from the water, spluttering, but only for a moment. He'd never been a strong swimmer. I did the only thing a father in that situation could do, removed my shoes and dived into the water. I couldn't swim well either, but if I could just make my way to him. Everything else was a blur. I grabbed Donald and threw him towards the shore, moments before the water consumed me. As liquid and seaweed filled my lungs, I sunk to the bottom of the fairly deep lake. I could see the dappled sunlight dancing on the surface through the trees above. I saw Tara's moonlit eyes, Donald's outstretched arms flying through the air. I saw myself riding my bike. "Look Mum, no hands." I saw myself lying in the snow, making angels. A million moments fluttered through my mind, a butterfly kaleidoscope of brilliant gold. Then, nothing. As I looked down at my funeral from the sky above, I reflected on my existence, what it had meant, what purpose I had served. I smiled and thought back to my life before Tara and Donald, the man I was then, sad, alone, existing each day only to reach the next. How fortunate I was to have had them, no matter how briefly. I looked to the distant cityscape and wondered how many people out there felt like I had, whether the joy in this universe outweighed the suffering. I looked to the distant church where we were married. I looked to the hill where Tara and I had conceived Donald, the McDonald's where we'd named him, the skate park I had broken my arm. This life might not have been perfect, but sometimes perfection comes from the imperfections. The meaning of life isn't to ponder the meaning of life, I realized, no, the meaning of life is to live. The good, the bad, the terrible. Every shade, no matter how disconcertingly dark, no matter how blindingly bright. Soak it all in, like a sponge, before the puddle of consciousness dries up. Donald looked up towards the sky. I could see his mind, his soul, and he could see mine. He pointed to the sky. A plane flew overhead, its contrail an ellipsis on the epilogue of my life. Look, Mum, it's Dad. He's up there, he's with the birds and planes now.
So it wasn't scary. But that was an amazing storytelling experience. They have another game that's actually scary. It's called Miscellaneous Animal. Anyway. So that was an amazing storytelling experience, first of all. I loved the way it was presented. The little robot dude was the only thing that I really just didn't like. I don't know. He was just always kind of there. He was almost like ruining the moment sometimes, where all of a sudden he'd like flitter in front of me as I'm like looking at the scene or whatever. But that was actually really cool. It was really pretty. There was lots of, you know, light and shadow work to it. It's actually really good. I really like that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I love you, and until next time, bye!